You're listening to the Just Wins podcast, where we discuss winners, black bookers, and much more. Enjoy the show.
Can he do it? Chautauqua, he's flying! Yes! There's history!
But a champion becomes a legend! Makoni Debra's won it! The pride of Australia is the greatest show on earth.
Another edition of the Just Wins podcast. We are up to podcast number 11 for Saturday, the 11th of July. I'm your host, Just Wins, as usual. Adam, are you out there, mate?
Yes, hello, boys. Hello, listeners.
And Lee, you there, mate?
Yeah, hey, guys. How you going?
Yeah, pretty good. Let's get straight into it. How did we go last week, Adam?
Yeah, mate. Had another good week. Ended up in the front. Only had a few bets there, and one of them won in hand spun. Quite an impressive winner. So got us in the profit for the day. Very close with Matawi as well. Would have been great if he could have got his nose down on the line, but just got run over late by the stronger horse in High Opinion. So really close to a back-to-back there in Sydney last week. So hopefully we can keep it going.
Yeah, you were ripping in there, and it was interesting. Hand spun blew out in values from about 420 out to 460 or something, and won. And you were worried about Matawi with the heavy track, and it firmed in and come second. So
yeah,
the punters were off a bit.
They were. I was very disappointed when I woke up in the morning and saw it was a heavy track. I was expecting it to improve, but it went backwards into, I think it was a heavy 9. So I didn't think that was ideal for either of those horses, but yeah, they both got through it quite well and nearly both won, so can't complain.
Can't complain about some profit. And speaking of profit, Lee, you're up again.
Just snuck in, mate. I actually thought I missed some profit, but anyway, I just snuck home. I was pretty filthy because the two Perth tips hit the front, and Nero Dio got motored down late on the inside. But it was huge. It was 3 wide at the back for the trip, and a horse that sat on the inside of it ended up coming up the inside and nosing it on the line. And then She's Got to You looked like it was going to absolutely bolt in, and then just, I don't know if it gave it away or I think it might have hit the front too early or went for it too early. But anyway, snuck some profit. So that's the only thing that matters, really.
Yeah, and if they're nosing around the front there, they're definitely to follow for sure. Myself, I feel like the Brisbane Broncos at the moment. Just struggling the last 3 or 4 weeks. But all we can keep doing is keep trying hard and working harder, and the results will come our way. I think I've been a little bit lucky putting a couple of tips out midweek that have got up. I'm still cheering on 60s Groove today. That was a massive win, and hopefully a bit of luck like that can turn around and get us going again for Saturday's racing. I think what we'll do is, because we don't have Group 1 banter, we'll get straight into our Group 3 Winx Guineas this week. It used to be called the Sunshine Coast Guineas, and it's race 7 at Caloundra. Boys, it's been raining overnight up here. I'm at Caloundra, and raining half the day, and it's just eased off now, but looks a heavy 9 at the moment. Adam, what are you thinking with this race, and who are you tipping?
Well, my sure tip in this race, mate, is that we won't see a horse as good as Winx in it, but I do have one I am keen on, which is number 3, Wapiti, for Gary Duncan and Sean Cormack. I just feel, to keep it simple, I think it's a fit horse. It's going to go forward on a moderate speed and handles the wet. So I'm pretty confident that it'll be really hard to get over. If you look back a few starts, it actually ran second to Ballistic Boy over the track and distance. And we know Ballistic Boy is a very good horse, and I think he'd be very short in this. So that's good enough for me. I'd like to back that 1 unit to win, please.
Yeah, 1 unit at 480. Do you concur, Lee?
I have the exact same comments about the exact same horse, and I like the exact same bet, please. Just same things, mate. He'll be up on a speed. He's up and fit. Last race over 2,000 metres and back to 1,600 here. I think that reads well for an on-pace runner. He's obviously got a win in the wet, which is good, a win on the heavy, and another placing on the soft. So, he just ticks the right boxes for me in a very, very open race.
All right, fair enough. We're Petey's to go. I'll go against his. I really like Star of Michelin. $4. They opened it too short at 320, and it's drifted out to 4. I'm hoping that's the only reason for the drift. I think this is his grand final, this prep, and its previous win, whilst enormous, I don't think it was fully wound up. It sailed down the outside to beat the likes of Amacedia, who's flying with 60 kilos as well. And when you compare the races that day, it ran a second quicker than Plutocrat's win that day, which is very good form and good time. Dale Smith sticks, only has a couple of rides here, gets 3 kilos off. And from barrier 4, we'll get a comfy run in transit. Probably the only query for me is the 7-day backup. I know with a lot of horses, it's a very good sign. The trainer's comfortable, but he just doesn't have that 7-day form there, so it's a bit of a query. But a jet spur out of a show of heart mare, that's good enough for me on the heavy ground. All right, so we're pretty much around the top end of the market there, boys, and hopefully we can get that home. Let's go to Adam at Rosehill. Is it wet again, mate? I swear it's been wet for 2 months down there.
Oh, it's always wet, mate. The only good thing about the constant wet tracks is at least our form will stay pretty true. We don't have good track one week and then a soft track the next. They've been pretty much soft throughout or heavy. So on Saturday, at the moment, it's a soft 6. They are predicting scattered showers Friday and Saturday. So I'm not sure where it gets to. I'm going to say it definitely won't get any better than a soft 6, but I've done my form for a soft 7, heavy 8, so it could end up a little worse. It's just not much confidence in that weather report.
The tracks have been hopeless down there lately, so they're just not drying out at all.
Nah, just winter time, mate, with the cold weather, and so it's a bit annoying, but we'll try our best. We've got the rail out 5 metres the entire circuit there, so probably don't want to be getting too far back. That's where I've been looking. My best bet comes up in race 5, and that's number 5 Vada for James Cummings and the Godolphin team, with the Grafton Cup winning jockey Jason Collett to ride, who rode a tremendous race today on 60s Groove. This 3-year-old, it was a great ride, mate. I think it definitely won the race. So hopefully he can repeat the dose for us again. This 3-year-old filly by Lonhro, I don't know if you saw, but her first up win at Canterbury was a gap job. She absolutely smashed them over on a heavy track, over 1100. She led and just raced away for a very impressive win. She's not gonna lead this week, but I think from gate 10, Collett should be able to get her across and slot her in just behind the speed. And I'm hopeful that she's just too good for these. If you look back through her form, she's got form behind horses like Flit, Sister, Ghana. Her last run before a spell, last prep, she's only beaten 3 lengths behind Ghana. So I feel that that's really good form for this winter grade. So I'm pretty confident on her as my best bet. So we'll have 1.5 unit a win at $3.10.
That's it, $3.10 for race 5 Vada at 1.5 units. Next one, mate.
Next one, we go back a race to race 4. Number 6, Cafe Royale. The listeners will remember we were on a fortnight ago. The Nathan Doyle trained Schnitzel filly with Kobe Jennings to ride. She was a touch for. She wasn't. I'm not going to say she was ordinary, but she wasn't very exciting to watch. She was really battling.
That's ordinary to me, mate.
she wasn't pretty to watch. Put it that way. She was battling when they turned from home, and then she picked up late and ended up sneaking third. So we got some money back on her. But I feel the key for her this week is the jockey booking. Kobe Jennings is the man for Nathan Doyle. 39% strike rate. Prior to last start, he had rode Cafe Royal in every start for 4 wins and a second from the 5 starts. I'm expecting this week up to 1,500, a little less speed. She'll get across from that gate, sit just behind horses like Frosty Rocks and Lewis, and again, just be really tough to the line and keep kicking, and hopefully can get over the top of them. I'm keen to have half a unit each way at the overs of $10 and about $3.30 a place.
Yep, spot on, 10 and 3.30, and hopefully she gets across and keeps kicking out in front, like we've seen a lot in the wet conditions down there. Any more, mate?
That was all, mate. I've just got my roughie coming up later.
All right, that's quick and easy, like Adam usually gives it out. We've got race 5.
Good one,
Barter,
mate.
Good one, yeah.
Yeah.
Barter, $3.10 for 1.5 units. And race 4, Cafe Royal at half a unit each way at 10 and 3.30. Thanks, Adam. Lee, we're at 2 Caulfield on the soft track, is it?
Yeah, so it's soft 6 at the moment, and I don't think it'll improve much from there. I think it'll probably be exactly the same. There's no rain predicted tomorrow, but there's something like 1 to 3 mil on Saturday, just sort of scattered showers throughout the morning and afternoon. So we'd be moving too much from a soft 6, and that's sort of what I've done my form on. Rail is out in the true position, which is hopefully that's going to be good, where we can get a fair day's play. But fingers crossed there, mate, because you never know with Caulfield, and usually it goes towards leaders. But hopefully we'll get some things come on from behind. So we'll see how we go. But three bets there, mate. Number 1, I've actually gone race 1. Number 8, Limpet. It's $11 and $3.20, and I'm just going to have half a unit by 1 unit each way on it. This is a real impact gelding, should I say, who on face value has a bit of ability. His first start was good, getting back in the pack and running on well for third behind a smart winner. Then last start was bumped multiple times in the straight and tried to run on, but obviously good luck on that day. He couldn't really make any ground. There was only one thing that came from outside of the front 4 to win on that particular day. So I thought it was really good. Its last 100, it really hit the line well. In this occasion, it gets into a small field, which is a tick, with a good gate, and there looks to be plenty of pace engaged in this. So hopefully with the rail and the true, that means horses can be running on, as I alluded to earlier. And I think out to the 1400 is a big plus for it. And, you know, I just think this looks like a bit of an open field with a few different form lines, and I think it's got a bit of class. So at the price, I'm happy to have a bet.
Yeah, that's Limpet in race 1 at 11 and 3.20 for half a unit a win and 1 unit a place. Next up.
Yeah, next race is my best bet, race 7, number 6, I Am Someone. It's $7 and $2.20, and I'm going to have 1 unit each way on him. He looks a genuine 1,100 metre horse to me. His win 2 back was really impressive at the trip, and then he stepped out to 1,200 metre last start and just over-raced a bit, and they all come from behind in that particular race. So I think we can sort of forgive that a little bit. He still finished 5th, so it wasn't a bad run, but back to the 1,100 in this. He'll get a sweet run from the draw, I believe, because there's plenty of speed engaged, and he should just sit just off that. So maybe I'm predicting 4th or 5th, and that's where he run from 2 back. So he gets a similar sort of run there. He loves the sting out. Most of his wins have come on a soft track, and he goes well at Caulfield. He's had 2 starts for 2 placings, and Bates is 3 from 6 on him. So I think he just gets a fair few things in his favour today, and like I said, that's going to be my best bet.
And also he's on the 7-day backup, so that's a good sign for him. Race 7, number 6, I'm Someone at 7 and 2.20. Anything else, mate?
Yeah, race 8, number 15. I just want a small play, half a unit each way on Little Stevie at $20 and $5.50. Looks a good price. Like he's a horse that's only missed a placing once. She's only missed a placing once, in her whole career, and that was last start. But there was plenty of early support for her, and she didn't get a whole heap of room in the straight. And by the time she sort of got out, like the bird had flown, and she didn't really get to build any momentum. She has some really impressive form from her previous starts, with 5 winners coming from a maiden win. In the start before that, she actually finished 2nd to Masked Crusader, which I think is pretty good form for. I think this is a 3-year-old filly's handicap on a Saturday in the middle of winter. She's also finished ahead off Flowstar, who's in this race, and I think Flowstar's in the market like $7 or $8. So I think she's right up to it in this company. Williams is also sticking, which I think is a good sign. And Out and Trip are both positives. She just needs a bit of luck from the draw. But at that price, I'm just happy to have a bet that she will get a bit of luck. Because like I said, she's $20. So let's have half unit each way on her.
Yeah, it's interesting that Williams is sticking at this time of year, and that is race 8, number 15, Little Stevie, half unit each way at $20 and $5.50. Just the 3, mate?
Yes.
Just the 3 for Lee. All right, back to Caloundra again. Sunshine Coast. It's heavy 9 at the moment with rail in the true. Been pouring here, as we said. I think heavy 9, heavy 8 at the absolute best comes Saturday. You want to get to the crown of the track as usual, particularly with the big fields and the heavy conditions that'll chop it out on the inside. And it's always interesting to see how these locally trainers fare, as it's their main part of the season. Straight into it, race 2, socialising, $2. I'm having 2 units on him. On her, sorry. Pretty confident. She's won 3 in a row for Golan after being sent to him from Vic. Classy win last start, albeit in inferior grade. However, the leader went super quick out in front, left the field off the bit on the turn, and she was able to slice through and won pretty easily. Dropped 3 kilos, drawn kindly. Heavy track's a little concern. However, her breeding, despite Bella Spree, should be able to handle it. Hopefully doesn't become bottomless. And early money there suggests she should be able to handle it. So I'm having 2 units there on race 2, socialising. It's the short odds of $2. Next up, I'm going all the way out to race 8, which is the Glasshouse Handicap. I'm having a Tommy 2 bet. I'm going to have 0.75 unit win on River Racer at $11. And I'm going to have 1.25 unit win on Crone at $6.50. I'm making a case for both of them to knock off Soxagon. It was pretty much, I thought, gifted the win last run when Thy Kingdom Come knuckled at the start. Firstly, River Racer, she loves the track and distance, being last year's Glasshouse winner. Every year it seems to be a heavy track up here, but that suits the daughter of Hidden Dragon, who just love the slot. Same prep as last year also, 7th up into this. Saved ground 2, runs back over 1,400 to just miss behind Love You Lucy. Last run, she was run ragged, but it was over the shorter 1,200 metre start. She also missed the start, which is her custom, but her best work was late. They've booked the senior jockey in Fradon this time, and riding at a really low weight for his standard. He's usually around that 57, 58. So he's really cut for this one. And he's won on her in the past. Again, 7-day backup is usually a good push, however, a bit of an unknown for her. That's River Racer at $11. And Crone, Adam's been on the back of Crone for a couple of starts now, haven't you, Adam?
Yes. She ran very well last start. Just Shawnee with Luke Dittman aboard, bloused her late.
Yeah, bloody Luke Dittman. I thought, I think Crone's going better than River Racer on form, and that's probably why it's shorter in price. The Dane Ripper run was better than River Racer, albeit run behind her coming down the outside of the track. Then, as he said, produced again last run over 16:30 behind Shawnee. Probably the queries are the drop back to the 1,400 after being at the mile, and I'm sort of querying the strength of Taylor Marshall at Saturday grade given his recent run. However, I'm still keen to give him a go, considering this horse is flying, has a featherweight, and will appreciate the heavy track and the wide, long straight. So that's it for me from Caloundra. Let's get on to a bit of a summary there. Go through it all again, guys. Adam, Rosehill, race 5, Varda, $3.10. Race 4, Cafe Royal, 10 and 3.30. Lee, race 1 at Caulfield, Limpet, $11 and 3.20. Race 7, I Am Someone at 7 and 2.20. And half a unit each way on race 8, Little Stevie at 20 and 5.50. Then I'm having 2 units at Caloundra on race 2, socialising at $2, and 0.75 unit in race 8 on River Racer at 11. and 1.25 unit on Crone at $6.50. That's the summary, guys. Let's get into Around the Grounds. Adam, let's go. You got anything?
No, nothing for me around the grounds this week, mate. Thank you.
Nothing for Adam. Short and sweet as usual. Lee, anything out of Perth? I should just start saying Perth now, shouldn't I?
Yeah, I certainly do, mate. Let's have a crack at Perth. Let's get on.
Right.
I'm going to lead off in race 1. Number 8, you might like this, Just Wins, but I'm going to get on Classic Magnus at $12 and $3.70. I just want half a unit. Great stallion, one of the best. I'm just going to have half a unit by 1 unit each way. I just think it looks a little bit overs and in what looks to appear on paper a bit of a winnable race. So her first start, she was really good, where she just bounded at the start and settled at the rear, but then came home in really good sectionals in a leader dominated race and on an on-pace favoured track that day. She was sent for a spell then and has come back in good order in her 2 trials. She looks versatile off that as well. But I'm predicting with what should be a very fast tempo up front, she'll go back to midfield with some cover and finish off over the top of them. Stable's obviously flying with Lindsay Smith, and O'Donnell strikes at 18% for him. So really good combo there. And like I said, just looks a bit overs at that price.
Yeah, it's a really open race, isn't it? So that's Classic Magnus to start the day in Perth at 12 and $3.70. Another one, mate?
Yeah, I'm just going to have a Pike Peters and Williams race-to-race double, as I think these two are pretty good horses. Windstorm, I've spoken about it enough. So race 5, number 10, Windstorm. Obviously can't knock winning form. He's won his last 2, and last start was in meeting best 400 and 200 metre sectionals. I'm just going to keep backing him through the grades. He's obviously a pretty serious horse. And then we're going to go into the next race, race 6, number 6, Inspirational Girl. She's resuming from a spell. She's a very promising mare. She's won 4 from 5 and beating some handy types and plenty of subsequent winners on those occasions as well. She even won last start with a saddle slipping mid-race. So she's obviously got plenty of ability and does want to win plenty of races. She's had 2 soft trials leading in, which is quite common for the stable. And she'll get the perfect run from the draw. She's another one to follow through the grades. I've just taken a note that she'll probably be a Perth Cup type in summer. She's a reliable mare out of a Zibil mare. So she'll get plenty of ground, and that's obviously probably what they're aiming for. She starts up over 1,400. Wouldn't be surprised. She has a couple of starts now, goes back to the paddock, and then comes back in the summer at fillies and mares races, and then on to the Perth Cup.
Yeah, they've definitely taken their time with her, and she must have been a bit slower developing, as you would expect for the breeding. So that's a little double, just for the 1 unit, Lee?
1.5 units on that, please.
1.5 unit double on race 5 at Belmont, Windstorm $1.35. Into race 6, Inspirational Girl, $2.25. What'll that get you? $3?
Should get about $3, yeah.
Circa $3. Nothing else, mate?
No, that's it.
That's it. Just the 3, well, 2 really from Lee in Perth. While we're at Perth, I'm going to throw one out there.
Oh, wow.
I'm interested to hear your thoughts. I'm going into Belmont race 8, Samizdat. Is that how you say it, Lee?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, mate. Yeah.
All right. 360 for 1 unit win. Lightly raced 4-year-old, being a very promising gelding this. Fresh here off a successful previous prep, winning a Group 3 over further than this, being 1,400. Then running 1.5 lengths to Regal Power in the Group 1 mile. We all know Regal Power. 1,000 metres today isn't beyond him, I don't think, especially comparing the weight relief he receives off Essential Spice, which is the favourite with Pike on from the previous prep. In that prep, Samizdat carried 60 kilos and 62 kilos on both occasions, and Essential Spice carried that 55 to 54.5 kilo mark. Today, there's only 1 kilo difference, and Samizdat's drawn inside. And as we saw last start, Essential Spice is vulnerable. So I think at that $3.60 mark, I'm just going to have 1 unit, and we'll see how we go in the quaddie leg. All right, so we're all in Perth. What a surprise.
Get on.
Up the west.
up the west. All right, let's get into Roughie Roulette.
Is a very dangerous game, not for the faint of heart. Let us begin.
All right, Roughie Roulette. We love doing it every week, but we're still waiting for someone to knock us off after that first week. We're probably going to open it up on the socials. We're going to write it down. We want everyone to get involved and comment on the socials and really get some good banter on there. But obviously, we're still going to, if someone gets a win-up that's greater than ours, you'll still get a mention next week if you want to send through your tip again the week after. Adam, let's start us off, mate. Where are we heading for this?
So I'm gonna stay in Rosehill for mine this week, mate. Well, we were very lucky. We dodged a bullet last week with Concealed getting scratched. I don't know if you guys saw today, but
he went.
They turned it out in a Kembla Class 1 and couldn't even get the job done there. So we dodged a bullet there.
What's going on with it? It was an absolute japper at, where was it, Canterbury or something? And then just sweated up like anything in Brisbane and then produced that today. So he's either going to get his nuts off or he's going to be coming up here.
I think he's already got the nuts off, mate. So I don't know where he go to next after that. He's in a bit of strife, but
he'll be on
straight to the sale ring.
English digital sales, I'd say, for about 30 grand.
Yeah, see what happens there. But anyway, where we're looking is we're going to the last race to get out. Race 9, number 3, Diodoro. I'm actually hoping that the track ends up heavy for this bet because this horse is a genuine wet tracker. He loves the wet track. I think all his wins have come on a heavy track, bar one on a soft, and all his runs on a good have been no good. So definitely loves the wet. He's second up here. Has won second up previously. First up was behind Cordia, who we know is a very promising horse. Who's actually going around in an earlier race again this week. He ran okay. He didn't have a lot of room on the inside, got a long way back, chased well, finished off quite strongly. So I'm hopeful he'll be better for that second up. I'm also hopeful Robbie Dolan will be able to get him a little closer this week. Has a good gate in 5, so I'm hopeful to be sitting a little bit better than midfield, get some cover, and hopefully be strong late and be superior in the wet conditions. So half a unit each way at about $26, I believe, is a good price. And if the track does come up heavy, you can bet that he'll be much shorter than that.
All right, that is Diodoro in the last at Rosehill at, what'd you say, 26 and 7?
26 and 7 sounds about right, mate. Yep.
All right.
Correct.
That's the get out stakes there. Lee, you staying in Caulfield?
I am, mate. I'm going to go to Caulfield race 6, number 10, Commodus. Big price, $41, $41 and $8. So hopefully this can do a high stranger for us and fill some sort of placing, if not win. I just think it's a little bit overs. They've also had a little bit of opinion about it. They raced in the Australian Guineas last summer. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
like 300 to 1.
Yeah, 300 to 1. It ran okay. Like, it ran 7th, but it was only 8 links off. Like, 8 links off Alligator Blood, Superstorm, Soul Patch, and that was a pretty strong Australian Guineas. That's pretty good form lines for this sort of race. After that, ran 2nd, and in that race, a horse called Call Me Legend ran 3rd. There's also been 5 subsequent winners out of that. So it was then sent for a 9-week spell and come out and won. And then it's been okay in its last 2 starts. On paper, doesn't read great, 7th and 10th, but it was under 4 lengths on both occasions away from the winner. And it was just last week that it ran 10th behind Walking Flying 4 lengths away, and it just looked in that run like it needed the 2,000 metres. They just sort of sprinted pretty quickly with about 300 to go and just looked like it got left flat-footed, but then sort of was coming again through the line. So I think the step out to the trip is going to be really good. And if you look back a fair way, it ran 4th to a horse called Relucent, who ran 4th in Derby and ran 3rd in a Geelong Classic before that. It's also got form around horses like Skyhorse, who has been in the market up here in Brisbane. And it's actually got some form behind some half-handy runners. So I think at $41 just looks a bit overs. Tricky draw, mind you, but most of the favourites have drawn out wide. There's some big question marks over thought of that. Right You Are looks like probably wants a bit further than 2,000 metres, but it's also drawn barrier 15. Grand Flora is in winning form, but it's big weight and it steps out to weekend company this time. So I think there's a couple of question marks about a few of those runners. So, yeah, $41 about it with 2 kilo claim, gets him really light. As long as it gets a bit of cover, he'll definitely be in the finish, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's race 6, number 10, Commodus at $41 and $8 to knock most of the punters out of the quaddie, I'm sure, if that gets up.
Yeah, 100%.
Sure. All right, I'm staying at Sunshine Coast. Race 4, Roulette at $26 and $6 a place. Last run was a complete forgive. Jumped from barrier 11 at Doomben, which isn't great. Caught 3 wide, no cover the trip with 59.5 kilos and battled on in the straight. Previous run before that was excellent though. Jumped from barrier 9 again at Doomben and found a spot 1 off the fence midfield. Leaders dropped the anchor on a leader bias track. He took a while to get going with the 61 kilos again, being a big gelding also, but finished off the last 50 metres quite well. I think it finished third that day. Carries only 56.5 kilos on Saturday, and Pengelly is a good appointment, in my opinion, to ride, winning on him 3 times from 5 starts. Should appreciate the heavy being by Wanted and back onto his home track where he will enjoy the long straight. So that is the Roughie Roulette for this week, with Adam at Rosehill, race 9, Diodoro at $26 and $7. Lee at Caulfield, race 6, Commodus at $41 and $8. And Just Wins at Sunshine Coast, race 4, Roulette at $26 and $6. We'll be throwing our $10 on the multi. I think the best you're going to get is 336 to 1. Probably going to get, 250 to 1 if you're using the same bookmaker to multi them up. So let's hope and cheer them on. Boys, is there anything worth following from last week just before we wrap it up?
Oh, for me, mate, I thought Handspun was worth following. The one I backed, I reckon she'll be competitive in much better races than that. And also, too, I'm probably stealing one here from Lee, and he's probably going to mention this, but obviously Cherry Tortoni won from him, but the second horse, Alcione, however you say it, was very impressive, and I think going forward, looking at getting over 2,000 metres and beyond, I think that's a horse that you might see line up in a VRC Derby. He's out of Purple, who you might remember was a good mare for Peter Snowden, won the Queensland Oaks, and I think she won that Vinery Stud, the 2,000 metre Group 1 in Sydney. So he's going to be one to watch over further for sure. Yeah,
and while you're on, Adam, I just want to ask you about a couple of horses that are running this week. You tipped Formina a couple of weeks ago and won quite convincingly. Did you think about it again?
I did, mate. I did. I do think she's going to be very hard to beat. I just thought that she's rock bottom odds at $3. It is last start was a fillies and mares race. She's up. She's in the similar grade, but it's open for males as well. This one, and also too, that ride from Rachel King last start was an absolute cracker. I think that probably flattered the win a little bit too. So maybe she can repeat it again. But if not, I was just happy to let it go this week.
Yeah, and that's good for the punters to know. Just to keep an eye out on the price there at $3 because it does look a bit short. And also Cordia there. I have a really big opinion of this horse.
Yeah, me too, mate. I definitely do. I just thought I know this myth's been busted a couple of times before, but second up after a long spell, I thought he might
second up syndrome.
Yeah, a bit flat this time. So
Lee's favourite.
Yeah, I let him go. And they did have I know synthetic hoof filler first time. It's not a bad thing, but it just put a little bit of a doubt in my mind that they might have had a problem since last start as well.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. And Lee, did you see anything before we go?
In agreement with Adzi talking about Alcione and obviously Cherry Tortoni. I think they spoke to Paddy Payne after. Yeah, those two look very, very good quality, and Cherry Tortoni just knows how to win. And they spoke to Paddy Payne after the race and said he was going to go off for a spell now and start back up over a mile with a look towards the Norman Robinson. So that used to be the Caulfield Stakes of yesteryear, but now the Norman Robinson. So that's over 2,000 metres, and that's a really strong lead up to the Derby. So obviously their plan is to head towards the Derby, just depending on how he goes over 2,000 metres. So he's obviously one to follow for the future. And then Alcione, I can't imagine he'll have too much of a different prep. Although with the size of the Cummings team, it wouldn't surprise me if they go up for like a spring champion before a Derby. So I'd be keeping an eye out on those sort of markets. But he's obviously a very good horse, and I black booked him off his first start. He's actually came out of the exact same maiden, I think, as Alvarado, who raced against Cherry Tortoni 2-back. I think it ran second to it.
Yep.
And it absolutely flashed home. And yeah, as he sort of alluded to, it's bred to get a bit of ground. So it will definitely be one heading towards the Derby, I'd say. And yeah, but like I said, they might take the route of spring champion before they go to the Derby, but we'll see what happens. But they're my two, mate.
Yeah, I'll probably say again that Cherry Tortoni, if you're a young horse and you can carry a big weight like that, you've got a massive future as long as it keeps injury free.
The thing about one more thing, that Cherry Tortoni, I don't know if you've had a close look at it, but it's got the woolliest looking coat you've ever seen as well. So I think it's definitely going to keep improving and in the right hands. So they're two horses I can definitely see getting to the top.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yep.
All right, boys, that's another edition of the podcast. For the listeners out there, remember to get on our Roughie Roulette comp. Become the first winner. Come on, guys. Pull your finger out.
Someone has to get a winner, surely.
Surely. And you can just send through your tip next week and get a nice little mention. And it's always a bit of fun to show off in front of your mates and get one over us as well. Give me a DM about Play Up. They've got best of the best for Saturday Metro. They've got the Quaddie bonus bet that we've used a few times. If your last leg doesn't win, you get a bonus bet back. Heaps of promos. Give me a DM. Go to our banners on www.justwins.com and .au. And again, just comment, share, like, give us a thumbs up, give us a follow on Spotify, all the above. Thanks again, boys, and best to tune in next week for another edition of the Just Wins podcast. Cheers.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and get involved in the comments. Best of luck and happy punting.
Can he do it? Chautauqua, he's flying. Yes, there's history.
But a champion becomes a legend. Makoni Never has won it. The pride of Australia is the greatest show on earth.